anxiety is a good thing. We have this feeling of worry because we're supposed to be cautious of when things are supposed to happen. Like if we're about to get hit by a bus, you know what I mean? We're supposed to feel a little something that's gonna make us jump out the way. The problem with anxiety is almost like a fight or flight response. Like the feeling is only supposed to come when there's a danger that's presented, and in that moment where our body is supposed to decide whether we're gonna fight or flight. Most times the issue with anxiety is that doesn't go away.
Let's take this overboard now. I want you to
Feel that heat, and we can ride the boogie, share that heat of love. I wanna ride
Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Stacey through, coming at you live with another video, baby. Yes, I'm back and I'm on the floor as I always am. This is where I find my mind. This is where I find my medulla. I'm down here like Velma looking for her glasses, and I found them today. I have a question. It's very light, it's very palatable, not too deep, not too deep. Do you or a family member suffer from anxiety, procrastination, brain fog, burnout, depression, numbness or dissociation, difficulty completing tasks, lack of interest in hobbies that you literally once enjoyed doing, and new hobbies, just lack of interest, like almost paralysis? Mental paralysis. Cause me too. And if you know me, you know I took a couple psychology classes and all of a sudden I think I can diagnose myself with anything that I find. You know what? I'm Queen Google. One thing about me, I'm gonna Google the way I'm feeling, I'm gonna find out, and I'm gonna fix it. Because at the end of the day, I did not just fall out of a coconut tree.
You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
I know that pretty much everything in the body can be explained, and so I want to find an explanation, because there's no way I'm about to just sit here and feel like that. As the past couple weeks, I've kind of been feeling not creative. Nothing's really piquing my interest. I kind of feel like I have brain fog. Like even if I sit there for hours and try to think about like things to do, things to say, it's just like it doesn't come to me. It never comes to me, and I don't know what it is. This period has lasted for longer than I expected it to last, and it's getting to a point where I'm self-diagnosing myself. Like I'm doing it. Self-diagnosis with Dr. Stacey. Thank you for sitting in my chair.
Julian.
I hope you have insurance. A lot of people associate anxiety with feelings of like jitter and like angst and just needing to do something quick and like acting on the fly and not thinking through the decision. Like they just think of anxiety like this, and it doesn't always materialize itself like that in everybody. If you're feeling anything like I have been feeling, we're gonna try to get to the bottom of it, and by the end of this video, regardless of whether we find a diagnosis, at least you will know you're not in this boat alone, and we're gonna figure it out, okay? When I was in college, I was on my way to becoming a doctor. Oh, what a life. So I took a lot of biology courses, chemistry courses, and sometimes on the exams, my teacher would be like, oh, the patient has a runny nose. What medicine would you prescribe? And then you have to now look at it like at a microscopic level and figure out what enzyme breaks down what, to do what, to what does that cause? And it's like one thing leads to another thing. It's kind of like a chain reaction of events that this one medicine could cause to stop that runny nose. Physical pain to my body is something that I can comprehend how to stop. Go papa tell now. But anxiety has always been something that confuzzled my mind because it's not something that you can touch. It's not something that you can feel. I remember when I was in psychology, we learned about the nervous system, and anxiety is actually part of our nervous system. So it's part of our nerves. Anxiety is a feeling, like a feeling of worry or a feeling of apprehension, or that's something you can touch. It's the way that you feel. Anxiety is a good thing. We have this feeling of worry because we're supposed to be cautious of when things are supposed to happen. Like if we're about to get hit by a bus, you know what I mean? We're supposed to feel a little something that's gonna make us jump out the way. The problem with anxiety is almost like a fight or flight response. Like the feeling is only supposed to come when there's a danger that's presented, and in that moment where our body is supposed to decide whether we're gonna fight or flight. Most times the issue with anxiety is that doesn't go away. I'm taking it all the way back to basics, like biology 101. The nervous system is made up of two parts: parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. For today, we're going to be focusing on the sympathetic nervous system because it's otherwise known as the fight or flight. It's almost like a switch that turns on when we're in danger and should shut off when we're not in danger. The issue with anxiety is that the switch turns on and doesn't turn off. It's stuck. Imagine having a fire alarm that is just constantly on even if the burglars are not here. Like the burglars are gone, the house is nice and safe and secure, and it just keeps going off. Imagine that. It's not good. It's bad. It's really bad. in the sympathetic nervous system, there is a state where that switch is in off mode, and that's called hypoarousal, the opposite of hyperarousal. Hyperarousal would be like type of anxiety. Hypoarousal is the exact opposite. It looks like a lack of interest in just life in general. It burnout, it looks brain fog, it looks like a lack of creativity, it looks like procrastination that just does not end, and it oftentimes looks like depression too. That's where all those roads kind of lead you to. That's what I learned in school, but then I was thinking about it, yeah, and I had to take it to Google University real quick because in my head I was like, hyperarousal, I can see how being under pressure and having dangers literally presented in front of you can make you have to like, oh my gosh, when do I gotta get it done? Oh my gosh, there's so much I gotta do. I could not wrap my head around the fact that my switch is off. Like in my head, if a switch is off, like I'm hypo-aroused. Like I should just be chilling. Like if anything, I should just be taking hella naps. Like, hey. I basically wasn't understanding how something like anxiety that I knew to be such a jitter and an angst and like a feeling of being on edge can make me lay in bed all day. Like how did we get there? I should be perhaps reading a book and jumping a rope and writing a story and listening to a song. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how did I get to a point where I'm just sitting down and watching time fly by, basically, is what I was trying to say. And I found that hypoarousal is caused by being exposed to stress for too long, or stress that is too hard or too fast. It's almost like training for a 100-meter sprint but being forced to run a marathon. Like you don't have the stamina for that, boss. But with the switch being off, it's like something that's just been so hard and so long, something that's kind of like drug itself out. I'm gonna give an example of my case so that you can like make a little bit more sense. But I've been a content creator for 3 years. I think I'm going on 4-ish. And because I'm a content creator and a majority of my content has to do with my life, there's a constant pressure to perform. There's a constant need to have something happening. And I've been doing that for 3 years. Now the first like 2 years, the first like year and a half, it was like fun, it was fresh, it was like, this is just me, I'm just turning on my camera, whatever. But now it feels like I have to be doing something, because if I don't do anything, then technically I'm not working. And I have to have multiple pieces of content to post for every week in the month of every month in the year. That is a stressor that is constantly in my life for a long period of time. So it's not like I'm in fight or flight for just 30 minutes until I make this final decision. It is like my body's sympathetic nervous system is working overtime in this fight or flight mode. Because I've been exposed to that stressor for so long, my body's responding by procrastinating, putting things off, not being interested in anything, not being interested in social life, not being interested in making new relationships, starting new hobbies, being burnt out. And what I'm calling brain fog is technically my brain just trying to like, can we get a second of quiet here? Can we? Seriously? It's my body trying to regulate itself and just tell myself that I need to calm down. When you're in fight or flight mode, your body uses a lot of energy in the fight or flight. It needs to get you out of that situation. It needs to bring you back to, what's that word? Equilibrium. Period. Woo! I'm good. And that drains your body of all its nutrients. Now, if you're doing that constantly, imagine the drainage. That's why you don't have any ideas, mama. Your body's not have the energy to come up with ideas. It has no energy to be creative. It has no energy to go outside and make friends and be happy. It wants to sit, like, what is it called? Brain rot. It wants to doom scroll. Like, it wants to do that. And that's the thing. Honestly, if we're gonna be honest, if we're gonna keep it a buck, how many of us doom scroll? My mind is empty, and I'm fully aware of the fact that my mind is empty and it should not be this empty. And low key in the back of my head, I know that I'm filling my mind up with things like TikTok and Instagram Reels and just a bunch of stupid videos, because I know that my mind's not coming up with any ideas for itself. And I'm not even like looking for ideas when I'm scrolling. I'm just scrolling. Like, this is putting something in my head. It may not be some valuable information. It may not be some top-notch ideas, but it's putting something in there. And I want it to feel like something, because it's been feeling like, what's that thing that be rolling across the road? It'd be like, I don't know what it's called. So if we can add a little bit of spice, a little bit of AI, a little bit of renegade, a little bit of, I'm gonna show you my For You page. What was this? What's that? Anxiety is not like a completely total, like, you know, it's not like a negative thing, that like a negative emotion that we should never ever feel and like that we should rid ourselves of completely. We're gonna try to use anxiety for our good. We're gonna try to make this pressure build diamonds. Because there's no way that like the pressure is like pressuring me the way it's pressuring me. Like, nah. Once I understood the idea of the switch and what happens when it's stuck in certain directions, like there was a little voice in my head that was already telling me how to fix the situation. Like I didn't really have to like do too much to like figure that out. But like it's a matter of like, Stacey, actually go and do it now. Love yourself. Aww. We have to quiet our mind. We have to take out the things that we're putting in our mind just to fill the space that's just empty. The phone, put it down. The scrolling, stop. We're adding noise to our brain to make up for the fact that there's just no noise, there's no music, there's nothing. We need to find ourselves again. We need to get back to the things that we are, because we are good. We are creative beings. We are fun human beings with interests, with hobbies, with unique quirks about us, with things that we love to do, things that we hate to do. Like, we know ourselves. Come on. Or maybe we don't. Another episode for another day. The only way that we're gonna get to a point where we don't have brain fog, don't have burnout, don't procrastinate because we actually love what we do and we're gonna get to what we gotta get to because we know, you know, like even if you don't even love what you're getting to, at least you love yourself and you know that the things that you would get to are gonna make you even better, and that, like, at least there'll be that, you know what I mean? At least you're not gonna like sit in bed all day and just rot. Like, the only way that's gonna happen is when we take out the things in our life that are adding unnecessary noise and causing us to procrastinate from the healing that we know we have to do. Get up, get active. If you don't know where to start, I have been going on walks. I've been going on walks for like, I don't know, like 2 weeks, bitch. Oh, let's give ourselves some credit, ho. I've been going on walks for like months now, to be honest. I'll go on like a 5-mile walk every day and it sounds crazy, but guys, I put my headphones on. Low-key, that's noise too. Sometimes in the walk, I shut it off. And I just listen to music and I talk to myself on the whole entire walk. Like, it'd be 2 hours of just me talking to myself. And people be thinking, like, when they're driving by me that I'm probably like singing the music out loud or something. No, baby, I'm literally talking to myself. I'm literally, like, I'm getting to know me again. I'm talking to myself out loud, but you probably think I'm just skibbity-bopping to the song. When you're sitting in silence and you're just by yourself, think about the feelings that are associated with your switch being stuck in off. Whether that's numbness, procrastination, dissociation, lack of ideas, whatever it is. Think about what specific feelings you face, and then think about the times in which you faced them. What were you doing when those feelings came about? Who are you talking with? How are they talking to you? Did it make you, like, try to figure out what made you triggered in that moment and write it down, write it down, write it down, write it down. The amount of times I just think things and I just be like, okay, yeah, period, we learned that, period, and I just leave it in the mental library in my head. It really does help to write it down. And then even if you feel like journaling doesn't help you, one day you're gonna look back when you get it completely together. Well, this is what I tell myself. I look back and sometimes I read the things that I was going through way back when, and I'd be like, wow, like, thank God I'm not going through that. And so then I feel much better about the situation that I'm in right now because I'm like, at least I'm not going through that. And I also write in my journals because one day I want to have kids. I'm very specific in my journals as to what age I'm going through, all the things I'm going through, and I'm very specific in detailing what I'm going through. And I one day hope to give my journals to my kids and then have them feel like, you know, you're not going through it alone. You're definitely not tweaking. Like, mommy was doing that too. Okay? The least you could have a journal too is so you or someone else could look back on it. But I think it really does help to write things down, to remember things. One of the things that my switch being off triggers for me is I have these long periods of being burnt out and having no ideas and all this stuff, and then like randomly at like 4 o'clock in the morning I'll have this spur of energy, crazy spur of energy, where I just want to get everything done and do everything, and I have so many ideas, and then I go and I tackle these ideas. Like, I don't sleep, I get up, I have an early morning, I start going on walks, I look like a crazy person. I start going at it and then I burn out so fast. You didn't actually learn any lesson. You didn't learn what triggered you. You're going through the motions. You're going crazy. You don't know what you're learning. You're just thinking things inside your head, and then you're acting on the thoughts and the things. Let's write it down. Let's read it. Let's pull it apart. Let's dissect it. Let's actually understand what's happening with us. Yeah? Yeah. Through doing this, I've kind of felt myself coming to, like, I've kind of felt myself understanding, like, oh my god, I kind of used to like that, and I kind of want to try this, like, and I want to do that. Like, I want to try horseback riding. I kind of want to try that, and I think I'm going to, and I have a friend, and I showed her the horseback thingy, and we're gonna do it. Like, writing down the things that make me happy. I want to make like a gratitude jar where I just like write little like notes every time I feel something that has made me feel like, damn, I'm so thankful for that. Like, I write it, crumple it up, put it inside there, and then I'll just look at all the things that have made me thankful, all these little crumbly balls, and I'll just smile at the crumbly balls. If you're anything like me, I literally have the memory of a walnut, so I'll make progress one day and then completely forget that I made that progress. Writing it down helps me to look back on the days where I just feel like, oh my gosh, I've just been sitting in my bed for weeks on end, I've had no ideas, I have been kind of stuck and paralyzed in my own mental jail, and it's translating to my physical jail because I'm not taking any sort of action of taking care of myself, cleaning my room. When you're in that state of mind, it can feel like the end of the world. That's dramatic, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it can feel like, oh my gosh, I've just felt this way for months. I've just felt this way. This is the same way I've been feeling. It's the same constant way. Like, you can not identify the progress that you have made. When you look back at your journal and you read it, you will realize, oh my gosh, that day I learned this, and that day I learned that. and this day I learned that this triggered me to be worse, and this day I learned that this triggered me to be better, and this you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Okay, back to it. Write the things that make you happy, write the things you discover about yourself, and that can always make you smile and make you feel like you're making progress. Eventually, that fog will clear and that muscle will be toned and you will be a diamond, baby. You are a diamond, actually. You are a diamond, period. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Dr. Stacy's clocking out and her shift. If you watch this and you relate, I just want you to know that you're not alone. And if you're watching this and you relate on a tip that's like, oh, I already been through that, I already did this, listen, help us out. Not me, obviously, because I'm Dr. Stacy and I know freaking everything. What? But help everybody else out. Please help me. Help us in the comment section down below to understand what's happening. What helped you get out of this rut? What made you shake your paralysis? Like, what made you shake the feeling of just sitting there and doing nothing and letting life take you? What made you take life? Let us know, baby, because we need it. Seriously. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the post notification bell down below so you get the notification whenever I post. And let me know if you guys want to see more stuff like this, because I feel like I be fighting things on a day-to-day basis, and I ain't ashamed to overshare. If it helps somebody, it helps somebody. And I didn't get the degree for nothing. I pulled up my notes for this, and I'll do it again. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Toodles!